concept of community-managed microfinance is elegant and simple. Rather than an external institution delivering credit services to poor people so that they can nominally invest their way out of poverty, it's based around two fundamental concepts. The first is that the poor are reluctant to borrow and prefer to save. There's plenty of evidence for that, but they have fairly few opportunities to do that in a safe way. Community-managed microfinance provides that opportunity in settings where other forms of savings are not available. Having said that, it also provides people with the opportunity to manage their own financial services, to offer small loans, limited forms of insurance, and to set their own terms and conditions of lending, which are flexible, which are structured around community knowledge of the individuals concerned. And at the end of the day, the benefits of the system, financial benefits of the system, are retained within the community. All the profits that are generated by these groups are kept within the community, and the returns on people's savings are usually very substantial. Between 20 and 50% is not unusual. So it's a very attractive form of microfinance for people who are what you might call entry level, who are looking for services like you and me that help manage household cash flow, part of which may also be enterprise investment, but that isn't central to the methodology. It's essentially a mechanism, a financial service, which enables people to stabilize and to secure their livelihoods, given that other kinds of external conditions are not terribly threatening. Typical community-managed microfinance institution is comprised of between 10 and 25 members, men and women. They meet weekly or fortnightly or monthly as they choose. They pool their savings. They make loans to each other, usually of short duration, 1 month to 3 months, sometimes as long as 6 months. And very often, frequently I would say, at the end of the year, at the end of an annual cycle, they will take all the money that has been accumulated through this savings, through loan repayments, through interest earnings, and they will then distribute that amongst the members according to some formula which may be based upon equal shares, or it may be based upon the amount that people have saved. So at the end of the year, everybody has had the entirety of their investment in these institutions restored to them. Okay. The community-managed microfinance groups are very, very attractive and popular. They have something like a 10-year 90% survival rate. They tend to accumulate capital. If I look at a typical program in Africa, we might be looking at a capital accumulation of between $1,500 and $10,000 over the course of a year. Some of that capital may be rolled over to the next year to increase the size of the total loan fund, and so on. So this would be fairly typically how a community-managed microfinance organization at a village level would work. The methodology is structured around administrative systems which reduce and in some cases eliminate entirely the need for complicated written records and base administration either upon memorization, upon the use of passbooks, but essentially a substitution of transactional record keeping using formal written systems to record keeping which is based upon witness, which is based upon what people are hearing, essentially observation. It's a substitution of formal record keeping with a process of witness, which reduces significantly the skill levels that are required. If I look at the evolution of particular programs, I can give you an example of Zanzibar, where Care International went in there in the year 2000, worked for 3 years and created 43 groups. The average group at the end of that time was mobilizing and managing about $5,000. DFID came in 4 years later after Care had left. There were over 150 groups. The average group was mobilizing and managing $4,000, and the rate of return on the average investment was 53%. And when I was there last year in December, the number of groups had risen to 250, and the average amount of capital being managed was $6,000. So these institutions, they have dynamic character. They appear to be safe, they appear to be enduring, and they are increasingly offering more sophisticated services than the basic entry-level suite. I'd say that the commonest resistance to these kinds of programs comes from implementing organization staff who presume that poor people simply don't have the capacity to save, despite the fact that they're surrounded by the evidence of saving in the form of granaries and cattle and other kinds of livestock. There's this persistent belief that poor people can't save. The evidence is entirely against that. We have not yet come across any program in which savings mobilization has been a problem. And in fact, the original founding program was created in 1991 in Niger, which is the world's poorest country, and has 196,000 female members at this time. So the ability of people to save is largely a function not of a lack of liquidity, it's more a function of a lack of confidence and a lack of opportunity. If systems that are put in place that are transparent, that are secure, that are accessible in the local community and are flexible, then savings follows almost automatically.